Hello everyone, it's DuckFairy07. Today I'm playing my MARDU Energy build, and this deck is and will be post NADU ban one of the best decks in the format, certainly a tier 1 deck in my opinion, and one of the top 3, 4, 5 best decks there is. And that is great news, because this is very fun mid-range deck, and I spent full 3 days just tweaking this build, playing a bunch of games, and my overall win percentage was 18%, which was amazing. I actually lost 4 trophy games in a row while playtesting, which was funny and yeah, very unlucky at times. Yeah, this is it. This is my final build. I don't wish to change anything. I really love this 75, but will comment in the end if you're interested in that. I will comment at the end of the video possible changes to the list and possible second way of playing Mardu. Okay, so here, let's check out this build first. We've got 4 Guide of Souls and 3 Gonti Machinations. Both of these cards are 1 mana energy enablers that will get you bunch of energy throughout the game. You will never miss like energy to do stuff, especially Guide of Souls abilities. And yeah, okay, Guide of Souls, there are a lot of creatures, 26 creatures in this build, which make Guide of Souls very powerful piece. You just got to remove that one, or the mid-range game, you will lose the mid-range war if you not remove the Guide of Souls. Ragavan is my favorite 1 mana option in a build like this. This build is a bit more aggressive than usual Mardu and Boros builds you see around. This deck has potential to win on turn 4 very often, and it really happens a lot. So you got lightning bolts, you got Phlage, and you got Gonti Machinations. These cards deal 3 damage face, and together with cheap spells that can deal a lot of damage, especially when you flip a Jani, when you flip Sorin, this can very often lead to turn 4 wins, and sometimes turn 3 concedes too. Okay, but strategy, this little change, like playing Machinations, playing a little bit more bolts, playing Ragavan and Sorin, really make this deck have better matchup against other top decks in the format that are even Nadu. I think it's good against Nadu. It's also better in my experience so far against Mono Black Necro, and I've been very in a very good situation against Necro. Played 5 matches so far, won 4 of them. Okay, so you can see my matchup spread on the Twitter post if you're interested in that. Okay, so we will now comment through the rest of the build. We got M-Chapter, we got Ajanis, we got Bowmasters. These Bowmasters and Ajanis great with Guide of Souls, and having 4 Bowmasters and 4 Phlage means you're playing 8 creatures that can actually kill other creatures, which is just insane when you're playing mirror matchups. And I've been favored so far when playing against Boros, even with against other Mardu options that don't play this Machinations Sorin package. Okay, so also Nightmare has been great card, but it's you don't want to draw it in your starting 7 like ever. And it's hard sometimes to put a creature in the yard if you don't have Phlage, and it's ideal to draw it randomly on turn 6, 7 when you have developed board and stuff in the yard, and it then just wins you the games. I think like 1-off is perfect for this build. Okay, I also played a bunch against Boros and against Unstable Amulet. Unstable Amulet is a pretty good card for the archetype, but I think if you go Mardu, there are some better options, and Gonti Machinations providing clock and like this great energy enabler that makes your guide better, that makes you able to play Sorin very effectively. Of course, there are some Mardu builds around that had success in the past that are slightly different, and They don't play Gonti Machinations, and playing just Phlage as a Sorin enabler plus the Sorin enabler is of course okay and can be great in certain metagames, but I believe right now Gonti Machination is a great piece that enabled me to win these aggro battles when you opponent loses 3 and you gain 3. You gain such a advantage that that you become the one that is attacking and pressuring the opponent, and it has been incredibly relevant, especially in the matchups like Mono Black Necro, and as additional piece, a very cheap piece, 1 mana. You can play this on turn 1, and every other fetch for the rest of the game just triggers your Gonti Machinations, and you gain the energy, gain life, and it was a great Sorin enabler all the time. Okay, so that is it. In the 3-drop slot we got Feeble, we got Phlage, Titan's Fury, and yeah, these cards are very relevant to win those midrange battles, of course, but yeah, these cheaper spells have been often very deciding at trying to win a game as fast as possible and just have a way to close the game when you are in a big advantage. And that's it. So on the sideboard I have made a lot of sideboard tweaks through the gameplay. I'm really happy right now. Okay, so we got 2 Sun Cleanser. You bring in this against other energy decks. Damping Sphere, great hate piece against Tron decks, against Storm. We got Hers. This is my favored graveyard hate right now when you play against other Phlage decks. Gigant, of course, Wear Tear, Totsis, Purge, also great. A lot of red decks out there, a lot of Phlages, and Static Prison as additional removal. Unconditional removal on the side. This removes anything. It's great card, and I really love it on the sideboard here. Okay, so that is it. I'm really happy with the 75 right now, and this is my final build for the moment. Okay, so let's check out the gameplay now. Okay, so played a bunch of leagues. We will see one of these. Okay, so here I am playing first, keeping a pretty decent hand. I start off with the Guide of Souls, going for the Golden Shrine because I have basic mountain here. So very happy with this hand. I can go, if they don't do anything, I'll go just a turn 2 Amp Chapter. And opponent playing Urza Saga means probably they don't have anything in response to this, so I can just play my Ramp Raptor, see what I'll get here. I get another Raptor, get some energy, immediately put 3 counters on Guide of Souls and attack. This is really amazing when you can already attack for 3 with Guide on turn 2, and my opponent plays Hierarch and passes the turn. This means we are playing against NADU. And so far I had great experience with this version of a deck against NADU. I only played it against it 2 times, but was very happy with how it played out. Okay, opponent plays NADU here, goes for the equip. In response I kill NADU, they get 2 abilities, draw another NADU and play a Halfling. Okay, so on my turn I top deck another removal, which is enough for the win here, so I just remove their blocker and bolt them face, attack for 7, and that is it. A win on turn 4 here, win in game 1. Let's check out game 2. Okay, so game 2, my hand wasn't really effective against NADU. It was very slow, so I decided to keep. I decided to mulligan on 6, and mulligan on 6 was pretty good. I had Galvanic Discharge, I had the Bowmaster. I can start with the Guide of Souls, so pretty happy with a hand like this. Opponent goes for Bristly Bill, passes the turn. And here I go playing the Amp Chapter, hitting the Static Prison. played Static Prison from the sideboard. We can see the game plan against NADU. I removed the Sorin Machinations package. They are just too fast to rely on that. So I'm just trying to bring in all the hate I have. And you can see here I was in a very good position. I killed Nadu again, attack my opponent down on 11. I have 4 creatures on the field. And yeah, my opponent, I actually made a mistake there. It was a mistake when I played Bowmasters on my turn. That was pretty bad. I should have just waited for their turn and play Bowmasters then. That was really stupid mistake. And yeah, this mistake costed me the game here. I should already be winning this. They would have only one Nantuko on the field, and I would Phlage the other Nantuko, and it would make it impossible for them to win this. At this point, I should have probably just hit them face with a Phlage, so I just cast Phlage next turn for the win. But here my opponent has a third Nadu, and yeah, mostly due to my mistake, they were able to find a combo and go off. So let's check out game 3. Okay, so luckily wasn't punished for that and was able to win game 3. As you can see here, again I mulligan to 6. That hand is not good enough to win against Nadu. Here I have a strong aggro start, I have Guide of Souls, I have a Werther to kill the Shuko, so this can significantly slow them down. Okay, so start off with the Guide of Souls. My opponent plays this member, but they're already like -7, that is great news for me. I play my Ajani and pass the turn. Opponent plays a double Halfling. I go for the Guide of Souls to get energy, then play the Raptor, get the Ajani, flip the Ajani, and yeah, this is great news. Another Ajani Cat Warrior token. I use it to kill the Halfling, attack for 4 damage here. My opponent is on 9 and I have lethal next turn, so they have to kill me right now. And yeah, for this they have to have exactly Shuko plus Nadu, and in 4 triggers get there and get, which is very hard. Yeah, Nadu is not that almighty, so I get a win here. And let's go check out match 2. Actually, this in my first 4 matches, this was the only game I lost, was this one against Nadu, which where I actually misplayed. Okay, so great hand this one. I start off with a turn 1 Ragavan. Opponent grieves me and yeah, scams the grief, takes the discharge and takes the Guide of Souls, which ended up good for them because I draw into another Phlage. So, but I just cast the Phlage here, connect with Ragavan, kill the grief. And yeah, now I'm in a pretty good situation. Opponent plays another land, and they also have like Orcish Bowmaster, which is basically they're living a dream. They have their best possible hand, and but right now I'm in a very good position. I played Guide of Souls, I played Gonti's Machinations and passed the turn. Okay, so now at this point I'm just waiting for another land to play the Phlage. And yeah, since my opponent plays the Geralt Messenger, now I know what I'm playing against. They're playing some kind of bombardment deck. And yeah, here I was able to play the Bowmasters, get counters on Guide of Souls, start attacking for 3, that is a lot of damage, and still waiting for that land to hit with Phlage. Opponent attacks, I get counter with Gonti Machinations, what was relevant when I played Gonti Machinations, and it was often very relevant. Gonti Machinations served, and like in this situation it provided me with the second energy to cast the Phlage this turn. It's those little things, and they are very relevant. And often what happens is Gonti Machinations is often last card you need to cast the Phlage from the graveyard. You can sack this, it goes to the graveyard, it helps you fill the graveyard for the Phlage, and often I was just able to get to the 5 cards because of the Machinations, so it was helpful with that too. And yeah, okay, so let's check out game 2. And let's also check out the sideboarding plan for this matchup. Okay, so I boarded in my unlicensed hearse. Brought out all the Ragavans. I assume they're playing Bowmasters, and they definitely are. Okay, so I brought out 1 Sorin and all the Ragavans and 1 Lightning Bolt to bring in stuff like Celestial Purge, Unlicensed Hearse, and the Static Prison. Okay, so here I go, turn 1 Gonti Machinations, turn 2 play fetch, get energy, play a Ajani. Okay, so if my opponent doesn't do anything, I can flip Ajani next turn, which is great. Okay, also there is the Sorin. So I flip my Ajani, but I plus it, so I expected for my opponent to attack with both Grave Crawlers. So I expected for Ajani to come down on 1, and now I can play a red removal and start really using my Ajani. Opponent plays a Flare of Malice here, tries to kill my Ajani. My plan was to play the Sorin of the House Marco, but when opponent played Flare, I played Orcish Bowmaster to save the Ajani. So instead of the Ajani, I sack the Bowmaster, which is good deal for me. And here I find Static Prison with 1 of these guys and try to kill another apprentice to really get over this game, but my opponent has another Malakir Rebirth, gets back their apprentice. Okay, so I had enough blockers so I can attack for 6 here. Next turn I have Gonti Machinations, sack, flip the Sorin, deal 3 more with Sorin, and then deal 6 more with Ajani for the lethal, even if they block everything. So yeah, that is a certain kill. I also draw into the second Gonti Machinations, and I sack both Machinations, and I can flip Sorin post combat to deal 6 with Sorin, but I also have 6 with Ajani, so yeah, it was great, and I find the kill here, which is very cool. So that is the match. Let's check out match 3. Okay, I mulligan to 6 here, but it's a good 6. I put the second Phlage down and start the turn with the Ragavan. A Nightmare is a great card in this build, but I don't like it in the starting hands, except when you have Phlage, then it's probably fine, but it can often be hard to put relevant creatures in the yard that have ATB. So it can be kind of dead sometimes in the start, but it's great when you draw it in the late game, in the mid game. Okay, so I get the Gonti Machinations here and pass the turn. Okay, so Gonti Machinations here is like Helix face that also just stays on the field and waits there until you have maybe Sorin to get more value out of it, to flip the Sorin immediately. Opponent plays Static Prison, takes my Fable there, unfortunately. But the good news is here they can't really attack with Ocelots effectively. Okay, so opponent decides not to trade. Passes the turn. I go for a Phlage here, and I have my Phlage is now in the yard. I have Cetonian Nightmare. I have a Goblin Shaman on the field attacking. This means I can replay Nightmare twice next turn. Okay, so I get the damage from the Unstable Amulet and get the energy from the Gonti Machinations. Opponent then plays a double Raptor, gets 2 cat tokens. But now I find that 4th land I need. I get the second energy with the Machinations. I draw attack here just to get a treasure token. My opponent blocks, that's completely fine. I get to I get to return the Phlage and flip the Ajani. This is so great. I also have a Nightmare in my hand for the next turn, start doing Nightmare things, and this is just... Okay, so I am waiting for a land. If I get a land, I can play Phlage. If not, I have Nightmare plus Discharge for the next turn. Anyway, great situation, but in the meantime, opponent has Phlage in the yard too. They can cast it, and yeah, so they can kill my Ajani, so they're in a great situation too. So I'll have to top deck something if it so it doesn't get out of hand. Okay, so here I go for the Nightmare. I get energy. I have a lot of energy, 9 energy there, so I can just kill the Phlage with the Discharge and get back my Ajani. This prevents opponent for attacking. They have to kill it. If not, then okay, so they get a Guide of Souls and they have another Phlage, so they kill Ajani again. This is okay, so I decide to block the cat token. They bolt it, and that is the last card in their hand. They are now on 0 and I am on enough life, and I also have Gonti Machinations if necessary. Okay, so yeah, here I attack with the cat warrior token, then sack the cat, get the Ajani back, get the token back, and yeah, so next turn, if I get a land, I can go for the Phlage. If not, I can sack the cat warrior token and get back the Phlage, kill something. It's a, as I said, pretty good situation. Opponent is also very close to recasting Phlage, and I really didn't want to give them card in the yard. But yeah, I was able to put myself in a pretty good situation here. I flip the Ajani, I make a token. I didn't want to kill their creatures that can go into the yard. All they have in hand is Giganta, so they need to top deck some removal that goes to the yard. They don't play much of these cards, so okay, so they go for Giganta. This is completely fine. They don't really have good attacks, or they had, but they had to attack before casting the Giganta. Okay, so yeah, now I have everything. I also find the land I needed, so I go for the Phlage now. And now I'm fine killing their creature, putting into the yard. I kill the Ocelot Pride, I make a Ajani token, kill Giganta. If they recast the Phlage, I still have Discharge here and can just kill the Phlage with this card again. So much better situation for me than my opponent, and opponent concedes. That is game 2. That is game 1. Let's check out game 2, and also let's check out the sideboarding plan. Okay, I have a bunch of sideboard cards I need to put in, and all the cards are pretty good, but you have to sacrifice something. And so far, against Nadu and against Boros Energy, I decided to put all this Sorin Gonti Machinations plan away, plus some other cards, one Ragavan, one Lightning Bolt. That's it. I have really 8 cards on the sideboard for this matchup that are really relevant. And yeah, here opponent went for Ocelot Pride and Ajani turn 2. Good start by them. I have multiple options here. I decide to go for the Raptor. I find Orcish Bowmaster, which is a good find, but I don't really want to kill the Cat Warrior token here, so that Ajani don't go crazy or whatever. And yeah, here I made this decision to block the Ajani, let it flip. They plus it up to the 5, and which is fine. And I can't kill it this turn, but I can deal 4 damage to it, and I can hope to recast the Phlage next turn to kill it again. And here opponents don't have a red permanent anyway. So I decide, I had a risky play here, but I decided to kill the Ocelot Pride, not kill the Ajani, and just dash the Ragavan. And yeah, I think this was a good option. Obviously my opponent didn't seem to have removal here. So I have double Bowmaster now on the field. They play Fable, but if they use it, they are getting a lot of damage. And I decided to go for the Phlage here. I kind of expected them to maybe have Phlage in hand. But yeah, just playing my own Phlage, I think it's the best option here. I go for the attack, put my opponent down on 13. And pass the turn. Of course, opponent decided to discard Phlage. Yeah, okay, opponent discards Phlage. I get 2 counters on my Orc Army token, get 2 damage. Opponent didn't want to play their Phlage this turn, except just exiled my Static Prison, which worked well for me because I have Unlicensed Hearse in my hand, so I can just remove the Phlage. Post combat I play the Fable and remove the Phlage from their yards, which was the biggest threat right now and kind of their only way to get back into this game. This was a bit weird. The opponent decides to play the Wear Tear on my turn, just kill the Fable. I was going to exile the Phlage anyway, so they should have just killed the Hearse and the Fable on their turn. That would be so much better. Okay, opponent is in a pretty bad situation and I find a lethal here. I can kill the Fable, I can have Nightmare, I can return the Phlage, I can even crew the Hearse if needed, and opponent concedes. That is the match. Okay, so let's check out match 4. This was actually my 4th 4-0 in a row, and I was playing for a trophy 4 times in a row and lost all 4 these matches. But yeah, some of those had some pretty bad luck, and some of them was my fault. Okay, opponent plays Gyro Souls. I started with a mountain and not with a fetch because I want to get Godless Shrine with that land. But since I draw the Foundry, I decide to play the Foundry, play the Ajani. Opponent goes Ocelot Pride, kills my Ajani. This is pretty good. For my hand, I can just Bowmaster the Ocelot Pride and continue pressuring my opponent, holding Discharge for their turn. They definitely don't want to put Phlage into my yard, so they just go for Galvanic Discharge. I could have forced them to discard the Phlage, but I was okay in just casting the Phlage this turn for 3, dealing 3 to face and attacking for 4 more damage, which puts my opponent down on 5 life. And if they will also probably need like to crack a fetch, and this is like a pretty bad situation for them. I really expected my opponent to have a Bowmaster here, but that is the best card they could have in this situation. And but it's fine. I decided to go for the attack anyway because they would kill my Bowmaster anyway and have these blockers, so I'm not losing really anything. I just decide to trade my creatures for their creatures, and opponent is down on 2 life, which means they have to kill Phlage or they die. Also, there is a big chance they Guide of Souls can do also something significant. And my opponent plays the Raptor, don't find a solution, and that is the game. Let's check out game 2. Okay, so we already saw the sideboarding plan. This build is a bit like a mirror, but it's not the same list, it's a different list. Okay, opponent plays Totsis, and actually them playing Totsis was very good for my my game plan of playing bolts. I have Phlages, and them playing the Totsis, losing that much life was a big advantage in this matchup. Opponent cascades into Celestial Purge and they don't hit anything. I decide I could have just gone for the Bowmaster here, but they play a lot of 1 toughness creatures, so I decide to keep the Bowmasters in my hand. They discard 1, play another Totsis, and here I am attacking for 2. Opponent plays the Discharge. I decide to go for the Surveil, keep a land on top, and just play the hearse. Okay, so hearse can be really effective threat in this matchup. It takes care of the Phlage, which is one big important piece in this matchup, which wins a lot of games. And unlicensed hearse shuts off the Phlage, but also can very quickly become like a 6-6 or a 8-8 and start attacking for a lot of damage. Also, my opponent is already on 7, which you will see, like next turn I can cast the Phlage from the yard, deal 3 face, and then crew the hearse and attack for lethal. Opponent plays Sorin here, and yeah, I grow my hearse, I go for the Phlage. I can't kill the Phlage with the Bowmaster, or can't kill the Sorin with the Phlage, so I just crew the hearse and try to attack for lethal here. Okay, my opponent has the Orcish Bowmaster. And can jump the hearse to survive another turn. Sorin can often be very good, and here my opponent gains some life, then flips Sorin. They also have lifelink, so they attack to get 1 more life, and finishes off my Phlage. But I still have Phlage in the yard, and I played the Guide of Souls here, plus Phlage, another Phlage from my hand to kill the Sorin. And yeah, now next turn I have a big hearse attacking. I can play both Bowmasters and Raptor, so great position here. Opponent hardcasts their Giganta, and that's it. So I go for Bowmaster, kill their Bowmaster, and now I can also play the Raptor, crew the hearse, attack for 3 in the air, then crew the hearse, or just kill them with the hearse, give hearse flying, sorry. Didn't get to this stage, but opponent realizes I have the kill and they concede, so that is the match. And yeah, let's check out the match 5 of this league. Okay, so in this matchup, opponent played a great deck. The one I really like, and I was working on something really similar, and after losing to this deck, I have just felt deck looks amazing. I really want to play it. I was postponing it, but after playing against it, I've just kind of really want to do it. And okay, so I go for the Machinations here. I find the Sacred Foundry, play the Guide of Souls, and pass the turn. Next turn I can, if I get the land, I can potentially go Guide of Souls and Johnny. So far I'm not sure what my opponent is doing exactly. I can't really be sure what's going on, but here I play another guide, play a fetch, get another energy with Gonti Machinations and 2 guides, and right now I have 7. I decide to use Guide of Souls ability twice, putting 4 counters on guide, but unfortunately opponent has Solitude, and then on their turn they have a Nightmare. Use Nightmare twice, get the Solitude, and Solitude is no big deal. But if I just had something like Bolt to kill the Solitude here, prevent them from getting the Ranger gets them more fuel here to find more creatures they can sack. And once they find the Ocelot, and again I didn't find this removal, so it was a game over. Next turn they can really start going crazy with Nightmare. So yeah, opponent put some counters on Ocelot. Now it's a 3/3 flying first strike lifelink, really disabling me to even try let's say okay, opponent gets the Solitude on the field, and now they can play like replay the Nightmare 3 times per turn, just kind of get a bunch of these tokens, sec tokens, and that is too much for me, so I concede. And let's check out game 2. As I said, I had something interesting, something similar in mind. I was really into the black-white scam, and I really liked how the deck looked when I played against my opponent, so I definitely decided to try something like this in very soon. Okay, so here I surveilled another Phlage into the yard and decide not to play the static prison. Opponent plays Ocelot Pride, attacks with a guide, gets a token. That is fine. I went for a Raptor here, finding a Bolt, and now I play the Static Prison on Pride, and I have now 4 energy counters. That is much better. Okay, opponent again plays Ranger Captain of Eos, finds a Guide of Souls, and I have some options available here, and I go for a Phlage. I actually didn't gain a life because they sack a Ranger in response. I play the 4th land, and now I only need to put any card in the yard and replay the Phlage. That is pretty good news for me, since I started a mulligan from a mulligan on 5. Opponent was in a big advantage, but they were able to play Guide of Souls plus Ajani again, get a lot of energy here. And here I was now able to play the Phlage, but I had to remove the other one from the yard to play it, and this was great, but opponent unfortunately had a Solitude again, and the Solitude removes my Phlage. They also have Ephemerate, which also kills the Raptor, and I can't play a creature next turn, and they gain a bunch of life. They also flip Ajani, so that was the game and the match. I concede at this point, so that's it. That is the entire league. I had I played 4 of the exactly same leagues before that. All of them finished 4-1. That is like above 18%. 18% of win rate, and before that I started my first league was a 3-2, but it was significantly different list, which was unrefined with a very different sideboard, and but overall great performance with this deck, over 18% of win rate across 6 leagues I played in the last 3 days, so I'm very pleased. This deck is very fun to play, can often win games early in turns 4 or 5, has all the means to play the late game, to play the mid game, to win the mid-range wars, and to finish the games where similar versions of this deck just struggle to finish the job. This deck has the burn reach, has the Gonti Machinations plus Sorin flip, which together with Phlage, this can account to a lot of damage in a single turn. Also Ajani flips with a bunch of creatures on the field can do similar thing, and the deck overall it was very great, very powerful. The change I would do is actually played 3rd Marshflats instead of 3rd Blasteinmire, and Arena of Glory was much better. It was a great land in this deck. It was much better than white land from MH3, Monument of whatever. I don't believe that card was very good. Okay, so another option, another Mardu option I was trying before this build, but I ended up liking this one more, is to remove the Gonti Machinations, remove the Sorins too, and add some Croxes. I was interested in trying 2 Croxes, adding a 2nd Nightmare to the deck, adding 2 Croxes to the build, and then adding a couple of Totsis in the main, a couple in the side. So that leaves you with 1 spot like you're missing one card for a full 60, and there are a lot of options to do this. So I was actually trying this build, and the last slot can be like really anything, but like a fatal push or a fourth discharge or whatever. But I was trying this build too, and I liked it. Kind of having 6 or even more of these titans often felt crazy, and they work surprisingly well with Nightmare, Cytonian Nightmare, and the Nightmare also works great with Ajani, Raptor, Bowmasters. Okay, so, and the Guide of Souls, of course, getting the ATBs every time you do the ability. So I was very happy with that. I kind of liked this build too, but I ended up liking the second one more. So yeah, there's definitely, I will try this more in the future. I will try to work more on this build to see maybe if I missed something, and maybe I was just unlucky when I played this build, and maybe I end up liking this one more. But the one that is in the video, worked great across 6 leagues, brutal win rate, some brutal wins, and I've really lost only at the moments when opponent had sick draws or they played some very cool decks I wasn't ready for, like that last one. Or just I did a few mistakes in a couple of trophy games too, which ended up costing me in these matches. So that's it. I'm very happy with the sideboard. A couple of Totsis are also there, and all these cards from the sideboard have been very relevant. And that's it. Okay, so thank you for watching this far. A friendly reminder for the end to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. I want to hear your experience playing MARDU Energy. What do you think about this? Let's say this is my secondary build for MARDU Energy that I am also interested in trying. I think it's also good, but the package of Machinations plus Sorin enabled me to win some games against a Mono Black Necro that I'm sure I would not usually be able to win, and it enabled me to win some games where I just needed to be as fast as possible, or my opponent is going to win next turn. And thanks to the Machinations, thanks to the Sorin flip ability, I was often just able to use these cards, use them well, and get that win. So also Totsis, I didn't like Totsis that much. It was when I played these mirror matches, Totsis was very medium. I would say actually bad. And I played a bunch of mirror matches that there are so many mirror matches, especially players playing Boros Energy. There is so much Boros Energy around, and this deck feels like it has a favorable matchup in this version against the Boros version. And but having Totsis just felt bad. I didn't ever want to draw that card, and I just want to draw the creatures, the value pieces. So and sometimes hate pieces like Unlicensed Hairs or Sun Cleanser, of course. But yeah, overall that is it. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I want to hear your comments down below, and yeah, goodbye.